Let me go back in history before we look at the present day and what could happen in the future as well. Here's a big question for you. Do we end up, through these processes, some direct elections, some not, some the cosy European elite picking their leaders, do we end up with the best possible leaders for Europe because of these processes or not?
I think there are a couple of answers to that, but the key one is that you end up with a team that can deliver on the demands of the 27 EU member states. At the end of the day, the EU is a compromise machine, and that's how the top jobs always shake out too. As you guys were just talking about now, there will be those rumbling about the anti-democratic aspects, if you could call it that, of the European elections. Which is indeed one of the factors that is, alongside with immigration and cost of living crisis, fueling the surge in populist and Eurosceptic parties' popularity. On the other hand, you have weak incumbents and a Brussels that needs to be ready for a host of geopolitical problems from what may come out of November US presidential elections to two wars on its borders in Ukraine and Gaza, and rising in a sort of China. So I think at the end of the day, what will be prioritized will be pragmatism and a commission that can act effectively, a legislature that can adopt new laws, and a council president who could build consensus among the 27 leaders.
That's a good answer. There used to be something when us Brits were involved in Europe, and it was pretty much the send them off to Brussels scenario. You know, you got a problematic politician in London, in Westminster, send them off to Brussels. You've got a failed party leader, send them off to Brussels as well. You know, and was that just the Brits, or is that the rest of Europe as well, Emre?
I think there's an element of that in all the decision-making processes. But this time around, I don't think that's going to be the case because everyone is angling to get their best man or woman into the job. So I think this time around, the competition will be a bit more fiercer, particularly because Europe is in a bit of an inflection point. You have the risk of another Trump presidency hanging over the EU's head. And, you know, we talked about China, we talked about the Ukraine war and the defense needs. And there's the big question of how to get the economy back up and running again and make it more competitive. So